Good morning, afternoon, evening. Episode 31 now, boys, of the Let's Talk Games podcast. We've done 31 weeks, and that makes the podcast as old in weeks as I am in years, as Chunt just reminded me about before we pushed the record button. How are we, guys? We all right?
Gravy.
Yeah, we're doing good.
So yeah, so some big weeks all around here. So I've turned a grand old age of 31. Dan, I think we owe you some congratulations, mate, as well, don't we? I'm gonna play a Beyonce gif here, but I forgot to cue it up.
I now have an ex-girlfriend, which because she's now my fiance.
Hey,
Starting with.
Yeah, boy.
Congrats, mate. That's awesome news. And man in the middle over there, how's your week been?
Yeah, actually pretty good. Some good things actually happened this week, so I'm in good spirits. Good
news. Well, without further ado, we've got quite a stacked show actually. We've put sort of 5 things in to talk about after last week's very rushed job of an episode. We'll take things at a bit of a calmer pace this week, starting with what we've been playing. And I think you've probably played a fair bit, Chunt, so let's go to you first. What's been catching your thumbs this week?
Oh, look, Animal Crossing, I was going to get that out of the way. I'm practically back to where I was, where I'm building my empire on my island again. I've got all the tools I need. I've got all my inclines and my levels and my building permits. I'm sectioning off my villages on one part of the island, and I'm taking over like this main block on like several layers above them. And now I can start building my crops and just owning the place. So I don't feel too bad about losing my island on my last Switch because I'm building this one better. So I'm enjoying that. And yeah, I've been playing a lot of Ring Fit as well, as I've mentioned. Ring Fit's a new purchase of mine. I've had it for about a week, and it's actually a lot of fun. I don't really know many people that actually have it. I know you do, Jamie, but maybe one other person who's like, yeah, I've got it, but it's just collecting dust, so I just don't use it. All right, I've been flogging it like all week, and it's really a lot of fun. I recommend it to anybody that needs something, a reason to kind of just, when you're stuck at home, just to get active and do something that makes you feel good. Like even just within a week, I'm already feeling in better, as I said, better spirits and energy and stuff. So, and just as a game, it's a lot of fun. You'd be surprised. It's just a ring and 2 Joy-Cons, one strapped to your leg. But yeah, there's lots of videos you can see about it online. I'm not going to rant on about it. But today, I'm just going to jump right to it. Oh, Yakuza 0. Actually, I've been playing that a fair bit the last few nights. Really enjoying it. Like it feels like a very dated game, but an improved Shenmue. Like it feels like what Shenmue wanted to be. But it's cooler because it's all Yakuza and Japanese gangsters and stuff. But yeah, I got this thing today. This Razer Kishi. I don't know if you can see that very well in the camera.
In a black room.
Yeah, that's my phone in the middle, clearly. But the things on the sides are this expandable Razer Kishi. I paid the extra to get the Xbox branded one, so it actually has the guide button and the Xbox buttons and the face buttons from the Xbox on it, because it's me and I want that one instead of the normal one. That's what I do. And man, this is a vast improvement from just using a Bluetooth controller. There's just no lag. Like it's seamless, man. I'm not, besides like, the odd, I'm playing on 4G at the moment just to test it out for a couple of hours. Going through the Gears 5 campaign, and it's like, my network isn't the strongest, but I'm not really noticing much besides the odd dip or the screen kind of pixelating every now and then. If I had a better network at home to push out this game, it'd be a lot better. But for what it is, I'm very much surprised, and it's so much better than it was a month ago. Like it's clearly been updated since. But playing it on my actual network, it's obviously going to be a better experience than it is. And it's just seamless on your own network. I love it, man. Like I'm surprised at how good it is. And playing it with this thing, it's just, I was sitting there with my projector off, just in this dark room, in the console on, just like this, just enjoying it on my recliner. Like this is so cool. Like this dream that I've always wanted of having an Xbox in my hand, and here it is. Very, very cool. So now I can sit here, and I'm not going to say it on camera, but now I can sit here in my spare time between things and maybe do like a campaign of Gears or a few rounds in Power Rangers Battle for the Grid or something. It's a game changer. Get one. That's all I'm doing.
What about you, Dan?
Well, I did get Madden this week, but not started yet because the day that I got it, I proposed. So there was some other things I had to do that night. A lot of calls. So I was playing a bit of Madden because NFL's happening right now. And then my brother and I like to play games together, mostly sports. So whether it's 2K or Madden, but because of this 5K Victorian rule, we just haven't had a game. We haven't been able to go to each other's places and play games. So what I did is I got Madden 21 because the last one I had was Madden 18. So I upgraded, and now we started an online league at the same time. So he picked the team and I picked the team. And last night and tonight, we were just going through with our teams, talking on the phone for like an hour while playing our respective games, basically just talking it out. And that's really it. I'm pretty much just planning to play Mafia this weekend, and hopefully I can get through all that.
Nice. Very good. That's
You've
quite
not
wholesome.
started any Mafia yet?
Not yet.
Cool.
Installed, it's ready.
Well, I tell you about what I've managed to play this week. Chunt, your camera's disappeared again. If you want to fix that before it goes back to the one. I have played a bit of Destiny this week. I realised yesterday that I needed to get my Triumph t-shirt. I do it every year. And I was like, I haven't played enough to get it, I don't think. And then Chunt was like, yeah, you should probably look at that. And I did. Spent a good chunk of time playing it yesterday. And I actually used xCloud to do that as well. So I was like, oh, the raid ring thing was staring me in the face as well. And I was like, I only need to do two more raids to get the raid ring. And, those 2 triumphs will get me my t-shirt. So I did that. That was good fun. Nice to play the game and actually go, oh, I'm enjoying this because I've been away from it for so long, but I'm definitely ready to just leave it for the expansion come November now. What else did I manage to play? So FIFA 21 came out. So because I want to mainline that on console this year, I did the EA Play Pro or whatever they call it now. So EA Play is the new EA Access, that's what they call it. And they've got a pro variant on PC where I think it's 15 English monies a month, and you get access and early access to all of their titles. So for example, like I'm not a Madden fan, but Madden's on there, FIFA's on there. Some really strange games on there. So Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning's on there as well, which I'll touch on in a minute. But yeah, FIFA is very much just FIFA, but this year players have had upgrades. It looks a tiny bit better. The presentation's a bit better in Ultimate Team, although I'm steering away from Ultimate Team until Xbox. Kingdoms of Amalur, right? I wanted to play that. I think I said to you guys a few weeks ago. It was on my shopping list to grab when it was probably going to be on sale around Black Friday. It's not... Yep. I didn't play this game when it first came out. It was something, where you go, oh, that looks like a game for me. Very similar to kind of a Skyrim / Fable sort of hack and slashy kind of thing, like fantasy world. It's tailor-made for me. But man, has that game shown its age. It looks okay. Like, it's nice to play at 120 frames a second and, run around slashing things up, but it's just not... It's not doing. I've been spoiled by like Assassin's Creed and things like that, and even Zelda to a lesser extent. It just bored me very quickly. So I played an hour of it, and I'm glad that I managed to do it in this subscription rather than waxing any kind of money on it come sort of deal season. But other than that, I've not really played anything else. Did some Ring Fit myself at the start of the week, and then I've either got carpal tunnel or a trap nerve in my hand, and I don't know if the Ring Fit thing caused it, but it's not it's not pleasant. Not got much strength in my right hand at the moment, which is a good job I'm left-handed for other parts of life. But that's my games for the week.
That's your problem there, being left-handed. That causes most problems in life.
Oh, does it just make me special?
Yeah, very special.
Well, I'm not denying that.
Exactly. Right, well, on to the first actual topics of the week. That their PlayStation 5 that you and I are getting, Dan. Got a teardown. Well, actually, it's the one you're getting because it's the one that had a disk drive in it. So what's the thoughts here? I've got some stuff that I realized about it after the fact. I mean, I was kind of half watching just after it went out. You know, I stuck it a video on in the background while I was working, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I watched it again kind of after the fact, and you know, the use of things like liquid metal, I didn't realize they was doing. I did not notice first time around how massive that heatsink was. It makes sense as to why the machine's as big as it is. But do we think we learned anything new from this teardown? Dan, I'll go to you first, seeing as it's a PlayStation thing we're talking about.
Yeah, I only had a couple of points. One, it's huge. It's massive. It's gigantic. That, just in case nobody realized that beforehand, it was so funny looking at all the things come out after it about showing, just amplifying how big it was. But yeah, as you said, we now know why it is that big, and everything that came out of the cooling. I learned so much about cooling PCs this week, like, because apparently that was a huge thing for people to talk about. But what I garnered from it, which is probably more of a principle thing, I guess, but it kind of makes me feel good about, because we've talked a lot about like the iPhone model with these consoles and things, and it seems like they're building this console to last a very long time, based on how they're trying to keep everything cool and keep it running, and the fact that you have your little holes that you can just vacuum up the dust and things. It seems like they're trying to build it to last, which I like. But that being said, I think there is some evidence that they still need to work out how long liquid cooling actually lasts for a long period of time with how powerful this machine is going to be. But yeah, that's the main thing I garnered from it personally. I was like, they're really taking to heart all of the criticism about especially the PS4 Pro, but the PlayStation 4 in general, with how loud they get, and they're trying to make that a thing.
Cool, Chun.
Yeah, I'll second all of that, and like, it looks like this sexy person that you see on the street until you get closer and realize that's a huge bitch. Like, holy fuck. You know, it's like, you're still hot, but goddamn, I can see you right up your nose. I think people are going to like it. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to it sitting in my lounge room, like if it's just out of sight a bit. You know, I don't know where I'm going to hide it anyway, but I'm not getting one anyway, so I don't have a dog in this fight. But my first impression was like, holy shit, that guy's either tiny or this is bigger than we thought it is. And it could be a bit of both. But the one main thing I went, what the hell about, is the stand and the screw and how that attaches and everything. Like, I just see problems immediately of like, okay, that's, you know, if you look at the used game market and the consoles that go through these places and like how trash they get, pieces missing and all that stuff, like old Xbox 360 plates, you can get consoles that just don't have the plates on them, or like all the rubber feet are gone on other machines, or the memory card flaps have been broken off on consoles and whatnot, just all that kind of stuff. So I can see like that being a casualty, like after someone gets it that doesn't really care about things like we do. You know, like some of us treat these consoles and our tech like more important than ourselves sometimes. You know, but a lot of people aren't like that out there. So, and the little nub thing that you can put on the side of the PlayStation, this little rubber nub that fills the hole where that screw went, I can see that going missing, even though there's like places to put these things in the stand. It's going to happen. And the whole, like, I assume it's covered in warranty. Like, I saw discussions, and I was involved in discussions about taking the console apart to put the RAM in. Oh no, not the RAM, sorry, the SSD hard drive. Of like,
yeah,
you know, when you're fiddling around with machines, it's like, oh, don't take it apart, or don't take this off, or, you know, whatever, it'll void your warranty. Like, I'm sure that's covered in there because it's the expectation of the use of the device. Like, that didn't occur to me until someone pointed it out to me. It's like, all right, cool. But what's stopping someone from going, well, what else can I take out of this thing? And unscrewing it further, but whatever. I don't know. I'm a guy that's like, I built my PC in one go and it booted pretty much the first time. That's cool. I can do that shit. Doing this, putting an SSD in this thing, not going to be a problem. But not everybody's like that. And to use that whole poor parents argument of like, I don't know which Xbox name to get kind of thing because I'm a stupid parent, apparently, that whole thing. What if your kid's like, I want more space in my console, mum? Can you do it for me? I like to think people out there are a bit smart and they know what they're doing or they can figure it out. But the whole ease of just putting in the memory card in the back of the Xbox is like very consumer friendly, and I'm all about that. I don't want to bug around with shit. I barely spend time on this gaming PC, because I'm just like, whatever. Anyway, ranting on, I just see that being a problem. You get the wrong stick in there, even if they're going to have a list of approved drives, and hopefully they release PlayStation branded ones just to avoid that confusion, like Xbox do. Those things are my main kind of like, ooh, that could be a bit dodgy. I can see in the future, but otherwise, yeah, it's a totally different take on the engineering, hands down. I'm amazed at how different they are when the smaller one is more powerful on paper compared to this other one that seems to have overcompensated for a lot of things. But again, like Dan, I know we kind of touched on an issue that we kind of went, well, what the fuck? What if you put this thing in an Xbox in the holes on top? That's a whole other discussion. But yeah, I don't know. It's about time they did it. I was happy they did it finally. I mean, that's kind of, all right, here you go. You want a fucking teardown? Here's a teardown. Cool. Anyway, I could rant on a bit longer, but there are other people on this podcast.
Yeah, I think you both covered off kind of the main points that I'd have spoke on myself. I see your point, Chunt, with the stand. I was like, there's some steps to this, and I don't doubt that Sony are going to sell like a 20 monies screw to like replace. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, here's your replacement screw, and that'll be £20, dollars, rubies, ruples, whatever.
A lot for a screw.
They'll do it though. You know they will.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it should be simpler than that. But at least they've done it. I mean, it's better to be over-engineered than under-engineered. And I think that's true of anything. Now we've seen the innards and the teardown, I do think the machine has been somewhat over-engineered, but that's only a good thing for consumers. Like a week ago, I was like, there's something that we're not being told here, and it doesn't look like the issue is now going to come from overheating, etc., because there's no way those chips are kicking out enough heat to fill up that heatsink. So I'm hoping that it is super quiet and super cool, as we've been led to believe. The faceplate thing, I just see money being made there. We were talking the other day about, the whole special editions thing. Whenever a special edition of a console is made, that costs the manufacturer money to make. How much cheaper is it just to make some special edition faceplates for a game than to rebuild a whole console focused around it? The only thing they need to change is 2 pieces of plastic and then go, here you go. And as Dan, you said to us, you think that's how they'll do special editions. It'll be the faceplates and maybe a bigger hard drive. They're going to be expensive. Just touching on, while we're talking about the teardown thing and the SSDs, did you guys see that Western Digital have actually said that they have the first PS5 ready PCI 4 SSD, and it's $229 for a terabyte in American money? So I can only imagine what the hell that'd cost you guys over there. I think it'd be about 200 here, but yeah, that'd be extortion. And that is something that happened, largely with the last couple of generations as well. Like, think back to just a normal hard drive. How much an external hard drive cost 3 years ago is not what it costs now. And I'm talking, still spinning hard drive, not solid state memory. Like, it's it'll come down. So we'll see if we can get by with these tiny storages until then. But yeah, it's nice to see the inside of the PlayStation. Nice that a person actually took it apart and showed us that it's an actual machine and not just a pretend one that we've never seen before. Because I think people were really starting to get worried. When we saw the the kind of Japanese hands-on, and it's like you can't touch it. It's like what? It's like, why? What are you lying about? What are you not telling us? There's something.
What are you
fishy.
hiding?
Yeah, what are you hiding? And you know, one of the things they were hiding was a mouse cursor on Godfall. So that's another topic though. So that's what we think about the PlayStation 5 Teardown. Any final thoughts there? Anything else that we want to touch on?
No, trying to think, because right now with the PlayStation 4, when you're swapping out hard drives, you just lift up the plastic and unscrew the top of where the hard drive is, and you can swap it out. It seems easy. Like they've just gone with exactly the same thing. Seems like that taking off the panels and the dust thing, and all the things you can do before you have to take off that tape for the warranty, and that after that it's bad luck. You're on your own.
Yeah, it's over engineered, but that's only a good thing for consumers. I don't think that over engineering can usually mess things up, but I don't see that they've done anything here that is, you know, too anti-consumer or going to not benefit the consumer. Yes, they're taking the faceplate off and screwing anything. You'd have to think that most people can operate their fingers and a screwdriver, you know, with a useful YouTube video showing you how to do it. But onto the next. Yes, I know not everybody's that intelligent. Like there are some space cadets knocking around, but I'd like to think most humans will be okay. So I wanted to talk about our unfinished games this generation. We're getting very close to the next generation. And the thing that got me thinking about this was Kingdoms of Amalur. As I said, like that was something I wanted to go back to. I wanted to play. It's now something I don't, with the sole purpose of it still feels stuck in the 360 PS3 generation. And we've been spoiled this generation, especially when it comes to, you know, RPGs, ARPGs. So what do we want to get finished before next gen starts? We spoke similar topic wise about this, I think maybe 3 or 4 months back, when we were talking about our kind of book of shame of different games that we had still lying around that we'd not finished, and that was a bit more blasé. But I was like, for me, is there 3 games that we each are sat here going like, I really want to finish that? And it's okay if you don't have 3, but ones that you go, look, we've got 3 weeks to get to next gen, 4 weeks. Well, 4 weeks till PlayStation for us, because, you know, you guys get it first. So what do we want to get finished and out of the way? Dan, I think you're much better at finishing games than Chunt and I. You actually sit down and play something to its completion, whereas we get distracted by the new shiny thing. So we'll come to you first. Like, is there anything kind of staring you in the face going, I need to finish this in the next month?
There's a lot I didn't finish, but like the short answer is there's no way I'm going to be able to finish these. And I think even if I just rattle them off, you'll know why. And also, can I just include Mafia in this? Because I know I'm going to beat that in the next 3 weeks.
That's fine.
But so like there is a constant through line through all these games, and Metal Gear Solid 5, Death Stranding, Far Cry 5, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Watch Dogs 2, Sleeping Dogs, Mad Max. All open world games. I think Sleeping Dogs is the only one I would have any chance of getting myself through it. The other ones all, Metal Gear Solid 5, I stopped. That was my favorite game of that year, and I never even finished it. But I went over to America that year, and I was playing it every day. And then I went to America, came back, and I just moved on to the next thing. So I kind of wish I got to finish that game. But all the rest, they're just too big for me, and there's no way I have that urge to go back to them, let alone spend 40 hours on average, probably, in most of them, like Far Cry and Watch Dogs 2. Like, they're probably 40-hour games, and I just don't know if I have the ability, because once I play Mafia, I'm either going to continue to play the rest of the Mafia games, Mafia 2 and 3, or just keep playing Madden and 2K until the PlayStation 5 comes, to be honest.
Fair point. Chunt, what about you? Have you got anything sat there in your catalogue of shame that needs to get finished in the next month?
Yeah, I'm just currently looking at my pins. Yeah, because I pin my to get to list on my console, separate from my rotation list that I just usually frequent. So I've got Assassin's Creed Origins on there that I want to finish, which I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I've kind of finished everything else that I think that I really want to finish. Then there's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I haven't started yet. I'm just going to put that in there because I want to get to it, even though I haven't even started it. And Ukulele, man. I know that's probably not from this year, but Ukulele and Ukulele's Impossible Lair, I'm just going to put them in both because my life and I'll do what I want. Those are the ones that I think I really want to finish this year out of everything else. Like, there's a lot of games here, but just to pick 3 that have been niggling at me, the Ukulele games are right up there. I've been wanting to play them for so long, but something, like you said, new and shiny comes along. Both those games were new and shiny at one point, but then something else shinier came out, and I went straight to it. So yeah, Assassin's Creed, the Ukuleles, Mass Effect Andromeda. Fuck, I can't do 3, Jamie. There's like 5 here. I'm just going to stop because I'll just list off my whole list.
Yeah, but the whole point was to pick 3 that you feasibly felt you could get through. So like something like Ukulele, I assume you could probably knock out in a couple of sit-ins.
Right then.
But yeah, the others I don't know.
Ukulele, Minecraft Dungeons. There you go. And Darksiders Genesis. There you go. There's 3 that I can feasibly do.
Yeah, and we'll come back to you in a month when you've done none of them. And Dan, yours, the ones you don't seem to be able to get through are the open world, very large, time-consuming games. So maybe you've actually got a worse attention span than me and Chunt, like thinking about it.
That's pretty dedicated when he wants to be.
For me, I think mine actually vary across a couple of different places, which is helpful. I want to finish Mario Odyssey. I'm not even sure where I am in context of how long that game is. Chunt, maybe you can tell me how close I am to the end. I can't even remember. I think the world I'm in now. Where did I get?
Like me to ask my fiance, she's beaten it.
Well, you see, now that just makes me I've got to complete it, right? Got to show that I'm a true gamer TM. I just got knocked off something by Bowser, and I'm in like this woods place. So I think I'm on like the 4th or 5th world.
Yeah, you got a while to go.
Yeah, I thought I had quite some time left to do it. But I want to get that finished, before next gen. Tell me why. I've got the last episode of that to play, so I want to finish that. Again, it's a contrast. It's not like I'm playing 2 massive open world games. As I say, like Dan, all of yours appear to be massive open world games. And something that I did say months ago when we spoke about this that I still haven't been back to is Detroit Become Human. Now, do I pick up I think I'm 3 hours into that game. Do I pick that up and carry on with it on PC? Do I wait for the PlayStation 5 and play it on back compat and get trophies? Because it's part PS5. Of that, it's part of that compilation, isn't it? So that's kind of hindering me now a little bit, going, I could play this on the PlayStation 5 and, take it downstairs and sit on the couch and not be at a desk and get the cinematic experience and get the trophies and stuff. So that's kind of there. But when I was sat looking through what I hadn't finished, there was only really those 3 that I was like, they'd be good things for me to get done before next gen happens. Because I've got a ton of RPGs and stuff coming then, and I think that's largely going to take my focus. So, Chunt, your camera is having a real hard time today. I'm doing well in masking it with the transitions because like it doesn't just appear as a black screen. That one was pretty close though. But yeah, when you think about what's coming out at the start of next gen, Cyberpunk, huge RPG, Demon Souls, difficult RPG. Even Godfall, like something that's there for big RPG again, like it's all that's coming really for me to play the end of this year. So it's like, it's nice
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, to not have those type of games to look forward to, like right now. I think I need to finish one of them now. I think Assassin's Creed was the last one that I did fully commit to, and I have been back and played some of the DLC for that. That game is Assassin's Creed Odyssey is very underrated in my opinion. If you like RPGs, I think it's one of the best ones that have ever been made. Unpopular opinion. Well, there's some games that we want to get done. So we'll flow into the next topic, which I can't remember what it is. It's something to do with PlayStation titles, apparently. So that means that there's some PlayStation titles that if you have a PlayStation 4 and you buy that game now, you will get a free upgrade at PlayStation 5. Caveat: Xbox, everything just works and you get the best version on Xbox Series X or S. Dan, can you talk me through this list so we can laugh at how small it is?
All right. We'll go alphabetical order. So we got Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We got Telluride 2, Borderlands 3, Control only if you have purchased the Ultimate Edition, Cyberpunk, Dead by Daylight, Destiny 2, Dirt 5, Doom Eternal, Far Cry 6, FIFA 21, as long as you get it before FIFA 22, For Honor, Hitman 3, the digital version, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortals Phoenix Rising, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Madden 21, as long as you get it before Madden 22, Maneater, Marvel's Avengers, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, only if you're getting that version of the game. Monster Boy, was it Monster Boy and Cursed Kingdom? Or Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, NBA 2K21 if you purchase the Mamba Forever Edition. That's some bullshit. Outriders, Planet Coaster, Riders Republic, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, Elder Scrolls Online, Witcher 3, Wild Hunts, Watch Dogs Legion, WRC 9, and Yakuza Like a Dragon, only if it's...
I don't know what you said after only if it's you stopped talking, but yeah, I don't know why.
Only if it's only the digital edition for right. Yakuza Like a Dragon.
So there's a lot of caveats in there, isn't there, for a lot of those games, specific editions, etc. I think we spoke about this a few weeks ago. Like Ubisoft seemed to have pretty much blanket said, yeah, anything you buy of ours from this year pretty much is you getting a free upgrade to the inevitable next gen version. So there's kind of two prongs to this conversation. One, can this hinder Sony in any way? And secondly, it's going to lead into kind of the next topic of what we think the first real next gen game is going to be. But just on this, that list to me seems incredibly small, and I don't know how many games. Like we praise Xbox a lot because it's like, oh, anything and everything's going to get the free upgrade to the best version that's possibly available. That's fine, but how many of these games are going to get a upgrade? Do you know what I mean? How much of it is back compat and how many are actually being optimized for next generation? It seems to me like Ubisoft have committed to that. There are next gen versions of pretty much everything they're releasing, and you'll get a free upgrade. EA very much the same, especially with their sports titles. You'll get a free upgrade to the best version. What's kind of your thoughts here, Dan? I'll let you kind of just take off from where you work, because again, this is your platform of choice. How do you feel with that? I know the Mamba edition kind of for NBA is your focal point here because that irks you and that's a game you play more than anything else. But what's kind of the nuance to it? How are you feeling large fall about this quite small list?
Without sounding like a broken record, mostly it's just we just don't know. So a lot of those games are obviously third party, so a lot of them are doing the same thing on Xbox either way. But the question is like, which games are going to get advantage of this so-called boost mode that they have, and which games are going to be able to get upgraded to the next gen system. When you posed this question, because you didn't pose it to me as a question, it's like, the small list of PS4 to PS5 free upgrades, and I'm like, what's my comment? Very small, because I was like, yeah, that's a pretty small list. But yeah, I just think we're saying it most weeks with PlayStation right now is just we don't know what the plan is still, and we're, as you said, five weeks out or whatever it is, and I think just have to wait until more. It's hard. It's I can criticize them for not speaking, but I'm waiting to criticize until I know exactly what they're doing. Because there's weird ones in there like Horizon Forbidden West and Spider-Man. So all their first party stuff, they are giving the free upgrade. Spider-Man is a weird thing depending on if you want the original Spider-Man game, because that is something you have to pay for. But for Spider-Man Miles Morales, they're just doing the upgrade for free. But yeah, there's just no communication. But I feel like
it's that type of stuff that doesn't make sense to me. The whole Spider-Man, the remastered version. Like, why do you have to pay for that? If games like Horizon and Miles Morales are getting all the bells and whistles added on for next gen for free, like it's really confused and conflated messaging. So what do you think the Mamba edition then? Where do you sit on that personally? Like, how have you approached the scenario with NBA? Because like you said, it's something you play most days, if not every week. Like, how have you approached that specific scenario?
I think of all the examples that we've seen, and there's been some weird ones, like Control is probably the second most egregious. But NBA 2K is literally you're buying the game twice. There's no doubt about it. My brother actually brought the Mamba edition so he could upgrade it, and I'm like, you could have waited 2 months. He's like, yeah, but I don't want to spend $90 twice. I'm like, yeah, or you could just wait a month or 2 months and spend $90 once. Because unlike some of these other games, which are coming out at $120 here in Australia, I pre-ordered the NBA 2K version for $88 off Amazon. So they haven't fully raised their price on that next gen version yet, which I'm assuming they will on the next go. But then I see that trailer that came out this week for 2K, and I'm like, oh, that looks really pretty. So I don't know, it's a weird time. It's a weird time to be a PlayStation fan.
Fair point. Chunt, have you any thoughts on that list? Without kind of just turning it into, why can't it just be Xbox?
Okay, let me try and get this out really quickly before my camera needs to be reset again. The only reason why we're having this conversation is because the standard was always going into the PS4 generation, where PlayStation just bumped everything up. PS4 versions, like remasters for like the first year or two, and they're just like kind of, it seems like, I'm not going to say they are because it's whatever, it just seems like they are just doing that again to kind of double dip a bit on some games. But again, the only reason why I'm having this conversation is because Xbox has now done all this stuff, and everybody's looking back at Sony going, why aren't you doing that? What do you have for us? If the smart delivery thing that Xbox is doing in the back compat wasn't happening, it'd be a non-conversation, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the way I see how this is happening, where everybody's starting to point fingers and going, these things aren't happening. Why isn't this happening on my plastic box that I'm paying for? Why do I have to pay double to get a better version when that team over there just gets it for free? It's pretty interesting. Like, if you just take away the smart delivery that Xbox is doing, what happens? It's just PS5 versions, and that's the conversation. People might still be a bit salty about it, but you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's kind of almost not a problem depending on what team you're on. I'm fine. I've got no problem with it because I'm an Xbox guy. I'm just going to get all my stuff. But just to note, if you go on the Xbox store, I went on there last night after the MK11 Ultimate announcement. You start going through all the games on there, and they've got the optimized Series X and X logo on some of them already. So you already get an idea of like what games in your library are going to be optimized, but then the back compat games are already going to be, through brute force of the power of the Series X, going to be running better anyway and looking better. So horses for courses, Xbox Series X gets all the 1X enhancements. It's almost like whatever. Yeah.
Amy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think this was PlayStation trying not to like annoy like any of the publishers? Like they basically said to the publishers, you do what you want on our system, like we don't mind. If you want to do it for free, you can do that. If not, you can pay whatever you want. And Microsoft is going the other way and going to publishers and saying, listen, this is what we're doing, we want you to do this. And then you know, in the end, you're going to look bad if you don't do what we're trying to do here, because we look like the better ones here. But it's like PlayStation just don't want to annoy the publishers, really.
Yeah, and I think when you think that a lot of the publishers have come out in defense of what Xbox are saying and in agreement with them, that Sony kind of do have to play ball to a certain extent, because Sony want Cyberpunk on PlayStation 5 with a PlayStation 5 version, and like we said at the time, like PlayStation needed to take a long hard look and go, we need to define our approach to this, because when a company like EA, who are, you know, really under the microscope all the time for shady business practice, turn around and go, yep, all of our games that you buy, you know, this year, our sports titles, the annual releases, you'll get an optimized version for next gen completely free upgrade, no additional costs, etc. When EA turn around and say that, like, Sony do need to look and go, they're widely regarded as like one of the worst companies in the whole of America, right? And they're doing more consumer friendly stuff than we are. So there will be an element of that, like not trying to piss off the developers. Ubisoft also committed to it. So when you've got CD Projekt, you've got Ubisoft, you've got EA, that's a big bulk of third party stuff coming out the end of this year that have already committed to agreeing with Microsoft that you pay the price, you get the best version of the game. And I think as this gen kind of continues on, I think, you know, publishers like Ubisoft will raise their prices, because they've not solidly stamped and gone, we're not going to do that. I actually even think Xbox are going to raise their prices, although by de facto it won't be them, because they'll just push you to Game Pass. But that doesn't mean if you want to, say, purchase Halo Infinite when it eventually comes out, that it won't be $69.99. Do you know what I mean? Like, it will be there, or you'll have the option to play it on Game Pass and pay your subscription for the month. So I don't think, other than them, not trying to wind publishers up, there's much there. I think it's their stance internally that is the problem that people have. And again, like we say, we've seen on there that they're going to give Horizon, etc., the upgrades for free, but then it just brings me back around to going, why are you confusing your own messaging with the whole Spider-Man thing? And it's all super confusing. But you're right, there is a massive element of, we don't want to wind the developers up, because there could be a world where CD Projekt turn around and go, if you make people pay for the PS5 version, we aren't developing it. Do you know what I mean? It's like you get a PS4 version that is just stock boosted, it's not actually enhanced or changed for PlayStation 5, and then that's not really fair to the people who've bought PlayStation. Side note, on Cyberpunk, I am playing it on PC just while we're there, because ray tracing is not coming to consoles for a good while after launch, and I need to play it at launch. So I made that decision. I know I posed a few weeks ago that I was on an RM, but that changed it for me. So have we any more kind of thoughts on PlayStation's approach there? I mean, if I see that list, I play everywhere, completely platform agnostic. I don't really have a shoe in any of the races, but I look at that and go, if you're just playing on PlayStation, like, you're getting a bit of a crummy deal, but I suppose at least most of the high profile third party stuff that is coming out at the end of this year, you're kind of getting a free upgrade, or, you know, you have that option with the Mamba edition, which, as you said, Dan, that's just 2K being fucking greedy, if I'm honest, and that's unfortunate for people like you.
That's kind of what I noticed. Is one, Take-Two I feel like is going to be a problem I think there's something to do with Grand Theft Auto as well going on to the next gen.
Oh
like,
yeah, if you don't own it, we spoke about that. I know me and you were talking about it a few weeks ago, Dan. I think it's something like $79.99 is the price to buy GTA if you don't already own it on PlayStation 5. So you buy it,
and that's only digital as well. If you own
only the digital
copy,
versions are getting the enhancement. Yeah, if you have a physical copy, it won't get the upgrade.
Seems like Take-Two are a bad influence. Activision, because Call of Duty is not on this list. Call of Duty is...
You have to buy the special upgrade edition.
Yep. So it seems, Take-Two, and I think Warner Brothers... I was going to say Warner Brothers is just missing because they don't really have anything cross-gen, but I do think they are publishing the Hitman 3, and Hitman 3 is only the digital edition allows you to upgrade for free.
The pre-orders
what people need to do, just to throw in a comment, what people need to do is just not buy them. Vote with your wallets.
Yep.
If you're like, this pisses me off, I can do without this upgraded version of this game, and they will learn through my less of funds in their bank accounts. You know, that's the way I'll play it.
The pre-orders for Warner Brothers games, I know it's here in the UK that if you were to go and say try and pre-order Harry Potter or one of the Batman games, if you go to the PS4 and Xbox One versions of those games, they are normal price. They are here $49.99, $54.99, whatever it is, and the next gen versions are $69.99. So that to me indicates that although those are placeholder prices, you are probably looking at a case of, you know, if you buy the PS4 game, you're not getting that upgrade. I think they're far enough out to then separate. I think there's a line that we're going to cross where, you know, all of this publishers being nice and going, yeah, you're getting free upgrades. I think that is for this holiday season only. And I think after that fact, it will be you now either buy the PlayStation 4 version or buy the PlayStation 5 version, depending on what machine you're playing on. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see me being wrong. I see that being especially...
Even the way Ubisoft mentioned, like with Far Cry that's coming out in February or March or whenever it is, they basically just said, we have no confirmation any time after that, really. So Far Cry is the last one that's getting the upgrade, isn't it? And then obviously they'll move into their new slew of titles. But into our kind of final topic that we had down on the card for today, it kind of rolls off this. What do we think the first true next gen game is going to be? And I mean, it doesn't have a down port, it doesn't have an up port. It is solely available on Series X, PlayStation 5, so Series S or X, PlayStation 5 or PC. And Chun, I'll let you take the lead on this one. Dan's been first a few times, so you get your old saying, mate.
Yep. Straight up, the medium. It's been said by those developers, they're like, this could only have been done on the next gen tech. Because of the way the game is crafted and built, where it's the two different worlds coexisting, you know, in polar dimensions at the same time, and you play both of them, you know, layered or side by side, whatever it is, like it's rendering two worlds at the same time. And people are like, why isn't this coming out on Xbox One if it's an exclusive? But they're like, no, it just wouldn't happen. Like if you're looking at a next gen only game or a reason for a game to be a next gen game only, then that's my first one off the top of my head. Like without thinking of, oh, this looks like a game that would come out 5 years from now, like that kind of mind-blowing thing, but just the tech and the reason why it's only there. That's my pick, just straight up. Yeah,
that's to do with the obviously they did highlight that it was the SSD that was the reason that they couldn't do it. Do two worlds rendered at once. Not necessarily the compute power or the level of detail of the game, but it's more to do with that SSD functionality. And Dan, what about you? And no, you're not allowed to pick Ratchet and Clank because that basically utilizes the same argument Chunt's got, and they haven't confirmed if it's coming to PlayStation 4 yet.
Well, Ratchet and Clank was going to be my cheat answer, only because they've said it's in launch window, and it's weird that wasn't mentioned with Spider-Man, Sackboy Big Adventure, and Horizon. And Horizon makes that the weird part of that, because that either means Horizon's coming out much sooner, or why wouldn't you also put Ratchet and Clank in that in that grouping. But let's say I can't use Ratchet and Clank because it's cheating. The main question is, we know by 2022 we're going to get these games, right? We already know that Suicide Squad is scheduled for 2022, and they said that it's only coming to next-gen consoles. So the question is there a game in 2021 that is going to utilize that? And most likely it will have to be a exclusive of some kind. And the only thing it leads me with at this point is God of War. That is the only one that I feel would hit those marks if I can't pick Ratchet.
Yeah, and I think I haven't phrased this to you guys correctly, so I'll take some onus on that. By true next-gen experience, I mean it's utilizing the whole functionality of the new suite of tools. So we're not just talking about the SSD, we're talking about being able to utilize ray tracing, use the SSD functionality, utilize kind of the bigger worlds. You know, they're saying we can build worlds infinitely larger, like the actual true next-gen experience where it's simply not feasible anywhere else. So you've both made some pretty good points there. I mean, the Medium, yes, is a game that could not have been done because of the SSD. But, you know, I mean, all of the bells and whistles. And Dan, I feel like God of War's coming to PlayStation 4. I really, really, really do not feel like that is just going to be a PS5 game.
I'm 50-50 on it. For
the same reasons that Horizon's not. The install base is too big. For the same reason Miles Morales isn't. It's an expand-alone. And I think that the God of War thing will be exactly the same. Ratchet, they haven't confirmed. If they turn around kind of after the launch of the PlayStation 5 and go, oh, here's Ratchet and Clank, it's coming February. It's also coming to PlayStation 4. And their whole marketing thing was around Ratchet and going, look at how quick that transition is. People are there's gonna be some flames spat, I think, because that is misleading marketing. For me, I think we are. You're exactly right. I don't think we're going to see anything until 2022. You know, we've been looking at 2021 and going, there's some games coming there that are going to be pretty awesome. But the things that people are really looking forward to in 2021 are games that seem to be going everywhere. You know, even from the third parties. Harry Potter's next year, right? Gotham Knights is next year. What else have we got on the 2021 slate? Anything on the top of your guys' heads, third party wise?
Nothing on my radar.
Not third party wise, because they're all holding off.
Hmm.
Well,
yeah,
look, I
think,
I was just going to jump in just to say, like, just on my side of the field, we haven't heard anything on what the initiative is doing, really, like what their game is. Yeah. And they're supposed to be, like, the amount of talent that's been pulled in that place. You have to imagine that what they're going to do is just to take everything that the Series X can do and just crank it as far as they can go, like to make a big splash as this new, like, massive studio that's under the Xbox Game Studios banner, you know, or like Senua's, whatever the next one is, Hellblade 2, can't remember what it's called.
Senua's Saga.
That one as well. Yeah, Senua's Saga. That one I could see probably pushing it as well, depending on how long
Xbox
it's been
gave us a glimpse,
for.
Chunt, didn't they? Xbox actually subtly gave us a bit of a glimpse. If you think back to that first party showcase event, there were some games that said, like, Xbox family of consoles or coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series. And then there was some that just didn't have any of that on it. It was just Xbox. And I feel like those titles we saw are what they're building truly for next gen. And that was Hellblade, Forza, and Fable. I don't think there was anything else they showed that didn't have an also coming to Xbox One kind of thing. I've obviously, it's been a while since we saw that, but those were the three that were like, they have not indicated that this is coming to Xbox One, which makes me think it's the reason that Turn 10 have got more time. I actually think that is the first true next-gen experience. I think Forza will be, you know, the way that the world is rendered, the level of detail, the ability to use ray tracing and still hit 4K 60. I think all of that will be why Turn 10 have been given more time, and I do think Forza will be the first true next gen utilizing all of the bells and whistles experience. The reason I'm saying that is it's usually a driving game, isn't it? It is usually a driving simulator that hits all of the nails first. Be that Forza, be that Gran Turismo. Dan, was the Gran Turismo game for PlayStation that's coming out close to launch, is that coming to PS4 as well?
It only has it for PlayStation 5.
Fair. So you see, maybe a similar
4.
thing. So it's probably a case in both of those instances that it is again going to be the driving simulators that really show off the technology properly, utilizing as much of it as they can. And in terms
can I show some fanboyism and just say whenever Naughty Dog's game comes that will show it off? Because
oh my god,
totally. Every time they like, I remember. Even this generation, I think a lot of people, Horizon Zero Dawn was that for them when they're like, oh, this is something that wasn't done on PS3, whatever. But for me, when I played Uncharted 4, that was a game where I went, holy shit, like this is something I haven't seen. So I'm just going to show my fanboy side and just say, yeah, whenever Naughty Dog release their next game, whatever they do with that engine, how they do it, that's probably what's going to kick me over.
I think they're going to be a long way out. I hope Naughty Dog are a long way out. I hope they get the 4 or 5 year development window and, release something kind of mid-gen that's just absolutely, completely and utterly mind-blowing. It's worth mentioning that Godfall's not going to current gen. That's PC and PS5. Although from what we've seen of that, I don't understand why. I don't understand what can't work on current gen hardware. Given the PC specs for it as well, that you have your minimum specs and minimum requirements, there's nothing there that dictates that you need a super fast SSD or a current generation graphics card, 20 series plus. So that baffles me. Whether it's a case of, it's a small team, it's a small studio, they could only really develop for X amount of platform SKUs at a time, which kind of makes sense. That game's gone gold now, by the way. Been a few pieces of news around going golds this week. Cyberpunk's gone gold. Godfall's gone gold. I think I saw something else. Sorry?
Gears Tactics.
Did that has gone gold? Did that have one of those messages this week? I didn't see that one. But that's what I mean. We're getting to that stage now where, we are, just a sort of a short time away from next gen, and there's things to be excited about. So that kind of hits the end of our slate of stuff to talk through this week. But is there anything else kind of you guys have spotted in the news, in the game sphere? Any kind of final comments before we wrap up?
There's lots that I'd want to avoid. I'll just say that.
A lot of news that you want to avoid. Yeah.
I just like, for anyone watching this, like, be excited about these things, but try and be positive and nice to each other. It doesn't have to be a war every single time you go on the internet and talk to people.
You can be positively optimistic, right? Like, don't be an idiot. Don't be a shill. Just enjoy what's coming forward and enjoy what's coming to the platform that you've hopefully managed to get your hands on. The closer we get to
which I have officially gotten. I've paid for. It's done.
Completely paid off. You got your notification through, didn't you?
Got my notification.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Nice.
I've heard absolutely nothing re my PlayStation order. I got a confirmation the day I ordered it, but no correspondence since. And my Xbox is sat there queued, ready to ship. So I'm happy about that.
I'm just sitting here just playing this, and it's not even a console, So it's like whatever, cool. Plastic boxes are great, but I've been enjoying the shit out of that tonight.
Do you know when will be the time I think that I'll probably do? I was looking at Akishi for a while, and I opted just to not bother because I can connect my Elite to my tablet. But I think I will probably grab one when the new console's out, because I can stream the console to that device. And it'll be sick to just like leave the Xbox up here, and then if I want to go and chill downstairs with the missus in an evening rather than sitting up here, I can just whack something like FIFA on and play a few games, and sit down there in that app. I know I can do that with a tablet, and I know I can connect the tablet up and sit down there and do the same thing, but there's something far more comfortable about that handheld form factor than having to prop a tablet up and sit slanty in a sofa, and you've got it's not comfortable.
100%.
So yeah, I'm pleased you enjoy your new toy, Chunt. Dan,
I had my doubts, man. I'm saying it. I watched some reviews, and some people are like, it feels cheap and clicky, and I'm like, oh fuck. But then that was only 2 reviews. Then when I got it and in my hand, I'm like, this feels so effing good.
Yeah, it should.
I'm surprised.
It's got some. Razer make good shit. Like they're not a bad I've got 3 Razer products on my desk, and they're all very well made. But yeah, that kind of wraps us up. Dan, congratulations again on your big life news.
Just like the Mafia, I made her an offer she couldn't refuse.
Yeah, she did right, and you did right. Congratulations. Well done, you. Chunt, well done on ring fitting. I'm very proud of you for smashing the hell out of that this week. You've put me to shame.
Thanks,
I shall catch you up next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, go on.
And we will catch you next week also, when we turn 32, aging evermore and getting ever closer to the release of these new machines.
Yeah.
We'll see you then. Oh, and wash your hands.